Welcome back to the Life of a Fanny, where we talk breakups, dating disasters, personal growth, and all the shit in between. Today's topic, a spicy one. One I know so many of you are going to feel in your soul. Why the fuck are Aussie men so emotionally constipated? Like seriously, what's in the breast milk here that's made communication such a foreign concept for them? If, after listening to this episode, you think you are different, I would love to hear from you. Please prove me wrong. If I had known that Aussie guys are that incapable of communicating, flirting, initiating, the list goes on, I would have probably chosen another country to live in. But thank fuck Australia is full of people from overseas and other cultural backgrounds. And of course, there are exceptions. Well, I hope. I just haven't come across one yet, so if you're out there, please enlighten me. Now, let me tell you my story with my first ever Aussie guy. And now guess what? This story doesn't go back too far because for some reason it took me years of being in this country until I crossed ways with this, let's say, interesting species of men. So let's welcome the next lost case to the show. A man I generally thought might be a keeper. Turns out he's just another disappointment in the world of testosterone. We weren't total strangers, just someone I vaguely knew. Nothing memorable, barely worth a footnote. But then, ding ding, breakup alert, and suddenly he seemed a lot more invested. Real chatty, real curious, real out of nowhere. At this point I had zero interest. I was freshly single, unhinged, and ready for everything and everyone. I was definitely not looking for Prince Charming. I was looking for some fun and some free drinks along the way. He seemed like someone with long-term potential, so I stayed away at first. I wasn't ready for a relationship, and you do not go wrecking the good ones when you're not in the right headspace yet. More interested in this whole situation than me though were, you guessed it, the girls. They already heard the wedding bells ring before anything had even happened. Now, they were also the ones who slowly started pushing me to make a move. Yes, that's right, I had to make the first move. Because why break tradition when modern dating already feels like a group project where only one person does the work? So I shot my shot, brought my best game, dropped my best lines. I was on, I was spicy, I was cheeky, I was confident as fuck. And in return, he gave me nothing. Absolutely nothing. Like, was I flirting with a doorknob? But I held on. Maybe he was shy. Maybe he needed time. Or maybe he had a rare condition where the brain shuts down when attractive women speak. Who knows? I generally started wondering what was going on. Was he not into women, or just not into me, or just allergic to effort? But then, finally, his balls dropped. I orchestrated some alone time for us. Yep, me again. Surprise, surprise. I knew nothing would happen if I didn't pull the strings here, so I basically handed him a golden ticket. And to everyone's shock, he actually kissed me. I was stunned. Did he function? Was this real? Was he glitching? I didn't know, but I so rolled with it. The moment had finally arrived and I was not about to ruin it. And that wasn't even more. He asked me if I wanted to come over later that day. Mind-blowing. Thinking back now, I still can't believe this happened. It almost felt like a miracle. Seemed like there was still a little bit of hope out there in this wild dating world. And I thought to myself, yep, that's it. The ice is broken. We are on track. It can only go up from here. And then, plot twist. Let's keep this casual, yeah? Oh, of course. The good old casual clause. Another emotionally avoidant man who wants all the intimacy but none of the responsibility. A man who will dive headfirst into your fanny but won't even dip a toe into his own feelings. Classic. But fine. Casual it is. I can play that game too. Well, We hooked up one more time a few weeks later, and then silence. Dust. Like bone-dry wheat bix with no milk. Zero energy, just dead vibes. And I'm here thinking, did I hallucinate the whole thing? I'm actually speechless, shocked, and also not surprised at the same time. Like, what the actual fuck just happened? Are you just busy? Lame. Lost interest? Cool, say that. Too scared of your own emotions? Grow up, bro. Seeing someone else? Fine, just own it. Are you waiting for me to say something? Again? I'm not. I'm so tired of this shit. I'm done doing the heavy lifting. I've carried this whole damn storyline. I'm not carrying your balls too. Can someone please tell me what is going on in their head? Is anything going on in their head? And before anyone comes for me, why do you always bag on Aussie guys? Listen, I've dated men from all around the world. Germans, Brazilians, Greeks, English, and they all came with their own set of fuckery. But the level of shutdown and ignorance I experienced here, that's a whole other level. It gives me the ick so bad, there is no coming back from it. And to prove it, let's actually add in some factual backbone to this. Yes, unfortunately, this level of emotional immaturity could come from any man, from any country, but there is something about the Aussie male dating scene that hits differently. And by differently, I mean, what the fuck is this energy? Or let's just call it emotional avoidance. I didn't truly get it until I had my first real encounter with a proper Aussie guy. And I say encounter because dating would be a stretch. Maybe let's call it a 2-night stand and a text exchange that emotionally resembled watching paint dry. Because I gave it my all, remember? And in return I got no banter, no vibe, no effort. So I had to do some digging. What the hell is going on here? Let's start with something I had no idea about until I started researching for this episode. Tall poppy syndrome. Basically, it's this cultural thing in Australia and New Zealand where anyone who stands out, emotionally, professionally, even just having ambition, is being criticized, attacked, and shut down. Like, how dare you talk about your success? Why on earth would you express yourself? Calm down, mate. Stop bragging. But how does this relate to dating, relationships, and Aussie men? Well, most people won't even realize, but here's how it plays out. Ambition? Too much. Vulnerability? Bit dramatic, mate. Emotional honesty? Ooh, awkward. Settle down. And if you're a woman who knows what she wants and who's got her shit together, like career, confidence, opinions, you are intimidating. Communicating openly, or God forbid, asking a man how he feels, you're suddenly too intense, too independent, or too full on. So men, from the time they're young, learn to just shut up. Don't talk about feelings, be chill, don't feel too hard, don't care too much. Just kick the footy, sink a few beers, and only express emotion when your team loses. Talking about your mental health, feelings, or relationship expectations, that's considered oversharing. But sitting in silence, pretending everything is fine while you both rot emotionally, totally fine. Classic. It seems like in Aussie dating culture, if a guy really likes you and puts in effort, he risks standing out. So instead, us ladies are faced with, let's see where it goes. Or even worse, we get the typical, let's keep this casual. It's like effort is embarrassing. But what happens when they do care about someone? They freeze, they joke, and their jokes are not even good. They avoid, they ghost, they give us the classic, nah, it's all good, while being emotionally constipated as fuck. Now then, let's layer in some hyper-masculinity, because oh boy, Aussie gender norms are still stuck in 2004. Men are taught to be tough, stoic, self-reliant, never weak. And unfortunately, anything emotional, vulnerability, self-reflection, God forbid therapy, is still seen as weak. They are taught to toughen up, not talk about feelings. And unless they're drunk or high, most of them don't express anything real. And I can vouch for that. Because their whole cultural blueprint is like, if you can't fix it with duct tape and a slab of beer, don't fucking talk about it, mate. And then, this is the part that kills me. They flip the script and make you the problem. You try to communicate, you open up, you talk about feelings, you even ask how they feel, and they act like you're the problem. You're a bit too emotional, you're just overthinking. Chill, it's not that deep. Actually, mate, it is that deep. You're just too emotionally illiterate to realize you're drowning in your own avoidance. And the thing is, it's not that they don't care. Because a lot of Aussie men do care. They just have no idea how to show it. And that's where it gets tricky. They weren't raised to talk about emotions. They weren't taught to self-reflect. And now they are adult men thinking a thumbs up emoji is an acceptable response. And I'm sorry, but it's not cute. It's exhausting. Like, I'm not asking for a love poem in cursive on a scroll. I'm asking for basic emotional availability. Some self-awareness, maybe a, hey, I heard you, thanks for telling me. But instead, you're met with this wall of nothingness. Or worse, jokes, deflection, or changing the subject entirely. I came across this meme a few weeks ago which said, you're still single because when someone sends you romantic words, you just reply with, haha. And I felt that in my bones. Honestly, the level of initiative I have experienced with Aussie men is lower than my standards in 2017, and that's saying something. So yes, culturally, Aussie men have been done a bit dirty. They've grown up with this deeply ingrained belief system that tells them communication is weakness, vulnerability is cringe, and emotional intelligence, something women do on podcasts. But that doesn't give you a free pass, dude. If you want to date, you need to unlearn that shit. Because otherwise, you're just out here emotionally blueballing every woman you meet and calling it being chill. And trust me, we're not here for it anymore. Because every time I'm talking to a woman about dating Aussie men, no matter what age, I'm getting the same answer. They are emotionally useless. And I have to agree. Like, I almost feel sorry for them, but then I remember we're all grown-ups, and just because you weren't taught emotional intelligence doesn't mean you're off the hook. That's what self-reflection, journaling, therapy, even YouTube's for. So guys, if you're still listening, do the work, learn the words, say the damn thing. Isn't it wonderful hearing all this and making sense of this nonsense? Alright, let's talk about communication. Or should I say the complete and utter lack of it when you're dealing with Aussie men. Because honestly, it's not even like we speak different languages. It's like we're operating on completely different emotional dimensions. Women, we've been trained to communicate. We process out loud. We talk shit through with our girlfriends, our mums, our dogs. We debrief, we journal, we unpack. We actually give a fuck about understanding how we feel and how the people we care about feel too. Now, Aussie men, they think not talking is a solution. Like, if we don't mention the elephant in the room, maybe it'll just pack its bags and walk itself out. It's giving, If I ignore this gaping emotional wound, surely it'll heal on its own. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint, but it won't. It just festers. And now we've got repressed rage, zero connection, and a guy who thinks a thumbs up emoji is emotional availability. Seriously, dating one of these guys is like texting a brick wall, expecting fireworks, and all you get back is a, yeah, nah, all good. Dude, what part of this is all good? You just read 400 words about my feelings and that's your comeback? And look, I've said it. I've dated guys from all over the world. Some of them deeply flawed, don't get me wrong. But at least they had the emotional vocabulary of a functioning adult. Southern Europeans, Latinos, even Brits. They might overtalk it, overshare it, or in a lot of cases oversell it, but at least they fucking say something. At least they try. A little, I miss you, or that pissed me off, or even, you are insane but I still want to rip your clothes off. I'll take it, because Aussie men, silence, literal dead air. So yeah, it's not just a communication gap, it's a communication void. You're out here trying to build intimacy and they're just sitting there blinking. Makes you wonder if you're dating a real person or just emotionally bonding with a surfboard called Dave. And just when you think, surely it can't get worse than emotionally ghosting me mid-convo, surprise! We hit the emotional maturity wall. Because here's the real kicker. Aussie men, for the most part, don't start maturing until, I don't know, their 30s, their 40s, after a midlife crisis over a Bunnings sausage sizzle. Meanwhile, women are out here doing the work. We go to therapy, we journal, we heal generational trauma with lemon water and inner child meditations. We are having 3-hour convos with our besties over one mildly passive-aggressive text. We are ready for emotionally intelligent relationships. And these dudes? They show up with a stubby in one hand and the emotional toolkit of a potato. It's like turning up to a relationship with a fully packed survival kit, trauma-informed, self-aware, emotionally resilient. And he rolls in with an empty esky and a vague idea of where to find firewood. Like, thanks Brad, super helpful. We tried to open up a real conversation. Like, hey, I feel like there's been some distance between us lately. And what do you get? Nah babe, all good, just been flat out at work. Okay, cool. Apparently, being busy is now the code for emotionally unavailable, avoidant, and allergic to intimacy. You realize real quick that you're not in a relationship, you're in a constant emotional babysitting job. You're doing the checking in, the holding space, the let's talk about it speeches, while he just shrugs and scrolls. And I'm sorry, at this age, if your communication skills still resemble a moody teenager who just lost in Fortnite, you should not be dating. You should be in therapy weekly with homework. Whew, all right, let's take a breather from the jokes, because this isn't just about the he left me on red or he can't articulate his feelings. This is about emotional labor. The constant burden women carry in relationships, especially with men who were never taught how to meet us halfway. Because when you have to do all the work, checking in, initiating the conversation, bringing up the hard stuff, holding space for their feelings and your own, you get burnt out fast. Because if we just end up emotionally parenting a grown-up man, we settle. We lower our expectations. We start thinking this is just how dating is now. Emotionally dry, one-sided, a fucking chore. Or worse, we tap out completely. We give up on dating because it feels like a full-time job with no pay, no benefits, and a boss who wants to keep things casual. So let me be clear. If your entire idea of communication is yeah, nah, it's all good, then you're not ready to date. You need help. A lot. So to wrap this up, yes, Aussie men, if you're listening, we want to like you. We want to connect with you. But we need you to do better. Meet us halfway. Learn some words. Learn some feelings. Maybe say them out loud. Without alcohol, without sarcasm, and without waiting for us to do it first. Revolutionary concept, I know. And ladies, if you dated an Aussie guy and felt like you were emotionally blueballing yourself the whole time, please send this episode to a friend, or to him, or to his mum, or the whole group chat. And if you've got a dating horror story that made you question if men here are just meat pies with commitment issues, DM me. I might read it out in the next episode. So to finish this off, let's leave it with, in a country where everything can kill you, spiders, snakes, the sun, turns out the most dangerous thing is dating a man who can't say how he feels. Thanks, Fanny Fam. I'll see you in the next one. Love you.